Yo, what is up guys, your boy IzuKage here with the finale for What If Naruto Had Merlin's Magic. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. How is this a finale when it's supposed to be part 2? Yes, I know, I'm just not really feeling this series anymore. It's like too little too late in my opinion. And when I sit down to actually write the story, I just stare at the blank Word document the whole time and go write something else. I just don't like doing what ifs that aren't fun for me. It just waters down the story, the writing process, and just makes it a chore instead of something I actually enjoy doing. So I hope you guys understand. I'll try to end it off where it makes sense, but without any further ado, let's get right into the what if.
Talk to me next. Look, dirty, dirty, big body Benz, I got you. Scope on the kick, get in like a Mac. I can't fuck with these hoes, these bitches is true. I'm married to bitches, got niggas attack.
So we last left off with Izuku beginning to take his sister's training seriously just in time for the start of the academy for her. So during her years there, Narumi was pretty popular, and like he promised, Naruto taught her just enough to be at the top of her class. She can't use magic, but Naruto taught her other useful skills as a ninja like chakra control and even some jutsu. He showed her from scrolls he collected from his missions over the years, because Naruto has done thousands of missions and some of these really high-ranking missions, so Naruto had to go to different areas in the Naruto world like the earth, the lightning, the hidden sand, just everywhere you could think of. So it's graduation day for Narumi, and Naruto is called into the Hokage's office. Naruto, he talks to Hiruzen, and Hiruzen suggests an idea to keep Naruto busy. He suggests, why doesn't he try becoming a Jonin sensei? And Naruto, thinking about this, actually never thought of this possibility. It sounds cool and he really isn't doing much, so why not? Naruto asked who his team would be, but Hiruzen said he would have to find out when he meets them. So Naruto doesn't get why Hiruzen's being so secretive, but he just heads off to the academy. Meanwhile, Narumi went through all her exams without much issue. It was similar to canon where they just had to make clones, and even that Narumi did extremely well. And she made multiple elemental clones, surprising the entire class and getting Kunoichi of the year. So, after that, all the teams for the different students arrived, leaving only Sasuke, Sakura, and Narumi waiting on theirs. So Naruto comes in not much later and meets with his team, and when he sees Narumi, now he's like, oh, okay, that actually makes sense why Hiruzen wouldn't just tell him up front. It's a good surprise. So Narumi was excited and runs up to Naruto, hugging him, saying, oh, I can't believe you're gonna be our sensei. So Naruto, he was as excited. So since they were the only team in class, Naruto decided to just have a quick introduction there. So it was Narumi, Sasuke, and Sakura. He didn't really do goals or anything like that. Naruto is kinda new to this. And he doesn't do the bell test because that's actually sort of Kakashi exclusively does that. No other Jonin sensei does. I think Asuma took his team to have barbecue or something. So Naruto instead brings his team to one of the training grounds just to gauge their strengths and weaknesses. So Naruto gets into the shade of a tree and he tells them to just attack him. They were confused, but Naruto said, don't worry about it, just attack me. And Narumi knew about Naruto and his capabilities, so she knew he could handle it. So she ran in first, weaving hand signs for a wind blade, and Naruto simply lifted his hands and the jutsu stopped before hitting him. The other two tried ganging on Naruto but without any success, and even all three at once trying to attack. Naruto just said expanding sphere, and an invisible sphere pushed outwards, sending all three of them flying back. Naruto laughed and said, you guys alright? And Sasuke didn't respond, he's on his emo phase, and Narumi and Sakura did not look happy. So Naruto said, just brush yourselves off, we're gonna start some missions. So reluctantly, they followed Naruto to Hiruzen's office, and there Naruto's team were assigned their first D-rank mission, and being a D-rank mission, it wasn't dangerous, just catching a cat, but Naruto is used to doing mission after mission after mission without any rest. And after the 6th D-rank mission, his team was begging for him to stop, and Naruto, who didn't even realize he was overdoing it, apologized and just let them go home for the night. So as the weeks go on, they learn more from their sensei, sorts of skills needed in the ninja world, like tracking or evading or how to perform a successful ambush. Ambush? Why does that sound like I'm pronouncing it wrong? Anyways, Naruto's team, after like 3 weeks of doing the same thing, catching cats, picking up litter, it was getting pretty repetitive and boring. So they asked Naruto for a harder mission, and Naruto, hearing their pleas, sort of sympathized because Naruto remember when he was doing C ranks and literally had the power of an Anbu. So it is frustrating at times. So Naruto, he's gonna do his best to get Hiruzen to give them a higher rank mission. So they go into the Hokage's office, and Naruto asks Hiruzen, for a higher rank mission, maybe a rank, double S rank, who knows? But no, to no surprise, he just gives them a C rank mission, and Naruto was actually surprised he easily gave it up because he remembers he had to be on his hands and knees, but Hiruzen knew that Naruto could handle it if anything went wrong in the mission. So when the next day rolls around, the team meets who they'll be protecting, Tazuna, and he seems like a kind old man, but Naruto could sort of sense something off about him. He seemed too nervous or jumpy, but Naruto just thought maybe it's just nerves for going on the mission, who knows. So they continue on the mission, and after about an hour into walking, Naruto saw a puddle in front of them, and it was almost obvious. Like, how is this even here? It's been sunny the entire month. And not only did he realize it, but Narumi as well, because Naruto basically ingrained all of his tactics into her while she was in the academy. So as they walk past the puddle, the demon brothers expectedly jump out and lunge at Naruto. And he does the same thing as Kakashi, pretending he was defeated by them. And Narumi was shocked. Oh, by the way, he used illusion magic to do that. So Narumi was shocked but confused. Are these guys really that strong to take down Big Brother Naruto? And knowing this, they were scared. Sasuke was the first to attack. He jumped on the claw of one of the brothers and kicked him in the face, and held a kunai to his neck just so that he wouldn't get up again. And Naruto did somewhat the same thing, except use jutsu, the headhunter jutsu, to drag the other brother and underground, capturing them in the process. So Naruto came out of the forest and he was slowly clapping, and he said, well, I was just playing, it's just a prank, bro, it's April 1st. Nah, but seriously though, Naruto said, you guys really thought I was defeated by some C rank ninja? And Narumi said, you really scared me, Naruto. Naruto chuckled and gave her a pat on the head and said, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. So Naruto walks up to his students and says, this route might be a bit too dangerous, so let's take a shortcut. The floating black orb above Naruto's shoulder flashed a bright yellow, and the brothers were sent back to the village while Naruto and his team and Tazuna appeared in the center of the Land of Waves. So they start heading to Tazuna's house, and the entire walk there, Sasuke, Sakura, and Narumi were surprised by the state of the town. They've never been outside of the village, which is prosperous, so a rundown, poverty-stricken area like this was a real shock to them. So soon they make it to Tazuna's house, and like usual, Inari is being a pest. But Tazuna's daughter though, she has the god touch when it comes to cooking. She made the whole team overeat. So yeah, bro, it was bussin'. So during this time, they are protecting Tazuna and his workers on the bridge. Naruto is training his team somewhat in chakra control. So one day as they're patrolling the bridge, protecting Tazuna and stuff, a thick fog starts to roll in, and no one really knows what this is. The Land of Waves is known for fog, but this is barely even visible in. And soon Naruto sensed an unusual presence. And from this he could tell that this fog was not natural. So Naruto, using a wind magic ability, cleared the fog and saw Zabuza as well as Haku. Naruto sees Zabuza and almost immediately knows who he is from the bingo book. This is one of the 7 deadly swordsmen and not someone to play around with. So Naruto made sure to take care of Zabuza while he actually wanted to see how his team worked together to deal with Haku. Naruto used illusion magic similar to Genjutsu to make Zabuza see Naruto killing Haku over and over. And all this was just picking on his one weakness, which was Haku. So Zabuza in the real world fell to his knees and yelled out, leaving him vulnerable to Naruto's quick takedown. Team 7, but mainly Narumi and Sasuke, because Sakura is still very much useless. So they fought like their lives were on the line when actually, they were. But Narumi and Sasuke used everything they learned from Naruto, even combined jutsu, pressuring Haku too much for her to cast her demon ice mirrors. And eventually Haku slipped up and gave Sasuke an opening. With his shiny new Sharingan, he rushed in and stabbed a kunai through her chest. Now with Zabuza and Haku down, the real mastermind decided to show himself, Gato. Gato laughed at both their dead bodies and says, "Such useless pawns." Now Naruto wasn't as attached to these two as in canon, but still, he tricked the two into this, leading to their deaths. And that doesn't sit right with Naruto. And he said, "You pay." He raised both his hands in the air and his army of mercenaries rushed at them, but Naruto said, "Reverse hell." A massive flash freeze hit the ground and ninjas froze on the spot. So Naruto and Team 7 left them to be dealt with by the villagers of the town. Now with their jobs done, Team 7 returns to the village. They get their rewards from Hiruzen and are also informed of the Chunin exams. So while they have that to prepare for, Naruto meets again with Hiruzen, but this time he has some dire news. One of the legendary Sannin, Jiraiya, has a whole spy network, and Naruto knows this obviously from being with Hiruzen for such a long time. But it has brought up some news. Word has been going out about a new group called the Akatsuki, who are trying to recruit strong members so they'll be able to capture all the Jinchuriki. And Naruto, hearing this, immediately thought of Narumi and said, what can he do to help? So Hiruzen told Naruto about how Jiraiya is on this, but he asked for specifically Naruto's help. So Naruto gets given a location to where one of the secret bases are for his spy network to meet with Jiraiya. So Naruto gets this from Hiruzen, and the next day he obviously gives his team a sort of training routine to do while he's gone, and he gives them that and goes. So after a day, Naruto finally gets to the location and meets with Jiraiya in an underground bunker. There, he's briefed on the Akatsuki and how the leader's name is Pain. And he's located in the hidden rain village, and the purpose for Jiraiya calling on Naruto specifically, he said that he's sure that he and Naruto could infiltrate the village and take down this Akatsuki group before it gets any traction and starts actually recruiting strong members. So Naruto, hearing this, was immediately down. All of this is for Narumi's safety after all. So after surveying the land of rain with some of Jiraiya's top operatives in his spy network, Naruto and Jiraiya have sort of a plan to go into this. In surveying the land, they find this tower that's the largest building, so normally larger means more important people would reside in it. So that's where they would start. So Naruto and Jiraiya dress in black robes and enter the land of rain. And as soon as they do, Pain has already tracked onto them because that's his ability with the rain. Naruto and Jiraiya make their way through the streets, getting ever so closer to the tower. And when they finally reach the base, Naruto and Jiraiya enter and it was dark. But then light shone in from the ceiling, revealing all 6 paths of pain and Konan, ready to take them down. So Naruto laughs and says, I've dealt with worse. And Jiraiya said, don't get cocky, these guys are serious. And when Jiraiya focused in on his enemy, he saw the Rinnegan, and only one person he knew had it. And now that he actually looks on the person he's fighting, he's like, wait, hold on, Yahiko? And Naruto is like, you know these people? Jiraiya quickly explains how he met them a week before he met Naruto in the war. But before he could get into much detail, without responding, Pain said, almighty push. And this pushed away both Jiraiya and Naruto, or so Pain thought would happen. Naruto put up a barrier for the both of them, leaving them unaffected. And Jiraiya was actually surprised by this. He wasn't expecting it, and he was bracing to be knocked back. Naruto then said, why do you look so worried? You scared or something? Jiraiya said, what? No. And he, shook his head and, got back into the game. So Naruto said, I'll put up a barrier and we can think of what to do next. Naruto then said after that, perfect cube. This surrounded their enemies and they tried breaking through, but soon realized that this wasn't just any old barrier. It reflected back the attacks that you attack it with. So you could actually die from trying to escape it. Naruto then said, well, what now? Jiraiya was just shocked at how casual Naruto was about this. He was absolutely amazed by whatever jutsu this was. I mean, he obviously knows it's not a jutsu due to Naruto's heritage, but yeah, it's still insane. Jiraiya suggested, can't he move it or transport it with them like that? Naruto's like, oh yeah, sure. And the perfect cube disappeared and was stored inside the orb floating above Naruto's shoulder. Jiraiya looked at Naruto and thought, I hope I don't get on his bad side. So that's really all it took. Naruto had basically mastered all of Merlin's abilities and leaving him in a sort of omnipotent state, stronger than the gods of this world themselves. So Naruto and Jiraiya returned to Hiruzen and he was surprised to see them. He was expecting them to be here a week or 2 later. And he asked, well, how did it go? And Naruto just simply smiled and said, how do you think? And he pulled out the cube that was now as small as his palm and showed Jiraiya the little people inside. And Hiruzen just thought, I'm getting too old for this. So after that, basically everything goes to canon except everything to do with the Akatsuki. Yeah, Black Zetsu is still out there, but with the Rinnegan gone, his plans can't move forward. So Narumi and her team go through the Chunin exams, and on the final stage the Konoha Crush still happens, but when you have someone like Naruto protecting the village, that is a bad idea. It only lasted for 5 seconds. So let's just say those Sand Shinobi were more than humiliated. So after that, some Genin were promoted to Chunin, and Naruto assumed the position of Hokage in the wake of Hiruzen's retirement. So with this new power, Naruto had a constant barrier around the village that only let certain people in and certain people out. And as the years progressed, Naruto would spread his knowledge onto the future generation. But unfortunately, that is where I'm going to be leaving this one off. Yes, I know, very, very short. I just can't force myself to push this video out. I posted this late just because I wasn't going to post it in the first place, but decided last minute to just get it over with. But despite all of that, I hope you guys somewhat enjoyed it. And don't worry, tomorrow, look out for Gaara Part 4 or Curse Mark Naruto Part 2, or who knows, both. And yeah, if you liked it, and if you like my content in general, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next What If.